So yesterday, we drew our monster with pencil. If you need more time to finish that, you absolutely can. But I want to give you a tip. Maybe you're not going to use this. Maybe you like it. But one of the things that I do is I actually go over my lines with black to make them dark. And some of you did this last year with me or Mr. Booth, your 6th grade art teacher, with your ceramic monsters or ceramic dragons. You sculpted them and then you put black glaze on them underneath your colored glaze. It's the same kind of idea. So sometimes what I do is I use a Sharpie to outline with black before I paint. And I do it again later, but I really like it, so it doesn't matter. Or if you're feeling really brave, I actually get some oil pastels, and I'll use some dark oil pastels, including maybe even a black, and I outline with black. And I'm not afraid, guys, because the paint I'm using will cover this up. And you can even get really loose. I pick oil pastels, God bless you, because they're hard to control. And you can really kind of color in and get crazy. I know a lot of you are perfectionists and this might bug you, but I take out all my stress when I'm painting and I relax and I try things and I have fun. So for me, this is really fun to do with an oil pastel because I'm forced to loosen up and relax. Painting is therapy. Frida will teach you that. All right, so here's my crazy monster portrait. And I can use my oil pastel to color in some spaces. And it colors it in very quickly. Oh my goodness, my silly monster. And you can even kind of outline a little bit if you want. So that's my tip. Do you have to do that? No, but it's kind of fun. And if you want to do that, oil pastels are on the materials table. Now here comes my next tip. When you are getting your paints, I want you to think about the colors you need before you put them on the palette. People get very excited when they see paint and they take every single color and then they only need 2. So think about the colors you want, and we're going to be using paper plates, and I just pour them out onto my paper plate. Now when you're ready to paint, I have a lot of brushes. You can take any brush you want as long as you promise to wash them. I don't care if you take 5 brushes, but you better be washing 5 or 6 brushes. And when I paint, a lot of people don't talk about this. I do 2 things on my palette. The first thing I do on my palette is I pet the paint. Yes, that's right. I said pet the paint. So I'm getting my brush and I'm taking some of the black paint, and instead of just dipping my brush in it and getting a gob of black paint, I actually paint it onto the palette. And sometimes I even twist my brush or wipe some off on the edge of the plate so I don't have a gob of paint on my brush. And you'll get a lot more control that way if you are a perfectionist and you want your paint just so. If you don't have gobs on your paintbrush, you're going to be a lot happier when you're painting. So that's one of my tips. The other tip, and I have a couple for you that you don't have to use, but maybe you want to. The other tip is never, ever mix all of your paints together. What the heck is she talking about? So on your palette, I'm going to need some green. A lot of little kids will tell me, or they'll ask, what 2 colors make green? Who can answer that?
Red and blue and orange.
Maddie, help them out. Yellow and blue. But then, it's okay, learning by doing is the best way to learn. But then they'll take their brush, kind of like a spoon, and they're stirring their soup up or something, and they take all the yellow, all the blue, mix it together, and they're like, that's not the right green, I don't like it. Don't do that. Instead, leave the yellow, leave the blue where it is, and simply pull some more yellow into the middle or the side. Pull it to a new spot. See how I did that? And then I'm going to leave this big blob of yellow where it is. I'm going to take a little blue, just a little bit, and I'm going to pull it into the yellow. So now I still have my yellow, I still have my blue, and I have some green here. And I've been painting for 36 years. Well, maybe 35 or 34. And I cannot get the perfect color the first time. I think mixing colors is kind of like cooking. Even if you follow the recipe exactly, you taste the soup, you might want a little more salt or a little more of another spice or herb. I always go back and I need to add a little more of one color or another. So that's why I like to keep my colors clean in part of my palette so I can always go back and get more. And then just like before, twist your brush, pet your brush on the palette, and get exactly the way you like. So that's my palette tips. Now, here's the other thing that I want to tell you that you kind of know, but it helps you when you're painting. I'm really sorry. I don't want to say too loud, but white is a really weak color. And yellow is a really weak color too. So if you're painting with white or yellow, I will often start with them first. And you're gonna watch me do something cray-cray right now. I'm gonna take white paint. I'm going to paint white paint on white paper. She's lost her mind. She's lost her mind. She's painting white on white paper. You can even paint right over top of some of your lines. It covers it up a little. Yeah, that's right. I'm painting white paint on white paper because I'm crazy. I don't just like to mix my paints on my palette. Ooh. I like to mix directly on my paper. So I have some white there that you cannot see. Maybe you see a little shine. I don't know. And now I'm going to paint over top of it. This is a crazy monster. He's got some yellow teeth. So now I can paint my yellow over top of my white, and the yellow totally won't take over because I have some white down as a base color. That's a little trick you don't have to do, but if you like it, you can totally do it. I put my white down first. In fact, I paint every single inch of my paper. Even if it's white, I still paint it. And now like the eyes, I want light blue eyes, so I'm going to mix the light blue right on the paper with the white. So I like to mix right on the paper. And I'm very aware of my brush strokes. I pretend my brush is a dancer. And I like to see my dancer's footprints. And this paint can be washed off with water. So if it starts to get a little mucky, just rinse it off with plain water. I don't know if mucky is a word, but it sounded right. It felt good. It felt like the right word. And I'm leaving some of the black showing through. I'm covering some up. The great thing I love about painting is I could totally mess this up, make the worst painting of my life, and it's going to dry tonight, and I'll come back tomorrow, and I can just paint right over top of it again. I love painting. Now I'm going to get crazy with my monster fur. I'm going to take some of that crazy green I made, and I'm going to put it on top of my white, and this time my brush is going to jump. My brush is going to jump because I got a fuzzy monster. And oh, it's mixing with the white there. Oh my gosh, I like it. So it's got some light fur. Ew, in between the teeth. Gonna leave some black, some green. And I really want you guys to have fun with this project. No pressure. I want you to try things you've never tried with painting. And if it's totally a fail, you come back in the next day and you paint over top of it. And if you're the kind of person who really likes control and perfection, when you're done painting, you can go over this with other materials and do mixed media artwork. It'll go right over your paintings. What questions or comments? Well, maybe not comments. What did I leave out that you need to know? Go ahead, Catherine.
I have a question. Can we leave heat press it after it's
Yes. So Catherine wants to know, can we heat press it when it's done? Absolutely, Catherine. I don't know if you see, but I have a stack of my 6th graders paintings right there. Even though it was on the board, I'm still going to heat press it. Now they're completely done and dry. So we can still absolutely do that for sure. Great question. Anything else? Okay.